Good evening, everyone. I am Bill. You're watching Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and this is Late Night. I am going to read some of the chat off to you. My featured chat plugin is acting a fool tonight. Let's see who all has joined us. Rick finally got here first. Good to see you there, Pop Actor. George Valentine is here with us. Cobweb Collector, who will be joining us here shortly. Motu Jonezer, All Music Fan 88. Radical Mom, good evening to you, Radical Mom. Moving on down. Lots of chat going on in here. Rick says that he liked Letterman on NBC better. I believe that, and I'm right there with you. Sean is here. Says I like the Tales from the Crypt intro better. Yeah, okay. And hello, Sean. Good to see you. OBS. I'm balancing. Just watched horrible news. Now something nice. Oh, and I got UFO stuff on too. Okay. That sounds like cool. Hey, Bill, say hi to Paula. Paula's at work, but I will tell her that you said hello, OBS. And now, without further ado, let's bring Jonezer into the scene here.
What's up, everybody? It's Jonezer, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this!
Hello there, Jonezer. I don't hear a word you're saying. Can I hear you? Oh,
Whoops. Man, I did a great impression of the Crypt Keeper and everything, and it didn't even make it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
This is terrible.
Are you ready to start talking about letting go? Because you did a little bit of letting go here this past weekend, did you not?
I did.
Did it hurt?
It hurt, but it filled the wallet. That took some of the pain away.
OBS says, hello. Is there anybody in here? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? I can't sing, so you could probably sing that for me.
Some Pink Floyd there. I'll spare you.
No, not that shirt.
Sorry, folks. I moved to Minnesota, but I just can't do the Vikings.
He's trying his best. I'm singing, yep. Jonezer. Can you sing some Floyd? Asked OBS.
I performed it live many times.
Rick, pro tips for losers. If you want to be heard, turn on your mic.
I'm going to recover from that burn a little bit there, Bill. Oh, that one hurt.
While you're recovering, let's bring our next guest in. What's up, Cobby? We've been Jonezer and I have been working real hard over here with our collections. Jonezer has gone a lot further than I have. I'm in the process of taking things that are in cardboard boxes and putting them in nice storage bins and taking them to a storage area outside this room. I'm reluctant to let go of my things, but Jonezer took the big step. Talk to us a little bit about that, Jonezer.
Well, I signed up to be a vendor at the QuadCon Toy Comic Fair, and I figured I got a lot of comics, and I got a lot of toys, and I got too many, and I got some that are worth quite a bit of change. So I figured 2 birds, 1 stone. We'll get rid of some stuff. We'll make a little money, and then we could buy some new cool stuff, right? Well, I did okay. I set up the booth, it was a couple hours away, so we had to get a hotel. And after paying for the booth and paying for the hotel, I still ended up making quite a bit of a profit. So, and we culled the collection a little bit. I figured I don't need 4 Castle Grayskulls. I could probably let 1 go. We'll keep the other 3. But like little bits, like some of the comics, I want to keep them all, but you can't keep everything. I mean, you have to build another house to keep all this crap. So, our buddy Gojatron was talking about, he calls his collection quite often and probably regularly. And I kind of took some inspiration from him, and I dug a little deeper and made a little money doing it too. So that took some of the burn away.
Let me catch up a little bit with the chat here. We had some folks arrive. Susudio was here. Good to see you, Susudio. Everybody says it's Cobb, LOL. Cobb. Hello, Cobweb, says OBS. OBS says, I have cobwebs everywhere. I like being in an Addams Family house. And Sean says, I love my little spider buddies. And there's a lot of footballing talk going on in there. I'll let you handle that there, Jonezer. You seem to be doing well at it as we speak. So thank you, sir, for that. I would be putting the featured chat on the screen, but my featured chat is kind of said tonight. I think I've got a little too much going on here. If you guys don't mind, I want to bring Largo in here real quick because I know that he's waiting patiently over there. He wants to talk about something that he has coming up, and I wanted to give him a chance to talk about that. So I don't have an intro for you, Largo, but I got you on screen right now, buddy. Everybody can see you and hear you.
If I can talk.
Right. Yeah. Got to get you a big drink there.
Oh, Lord. It's been a day. How y'all doing?
We're doing pretty good. You've got something in the works over there you were telling me about earlier. You want to share that with our viewers?
I do. We're going to do a Twitch stream. It's going to be co-ed naked basket weaving, 24 hours. It's just going to be nonstop hootenanny. No, I'm kidding. No, we're not doing that. What we are doing is a new series, and it's called Retro Nuevo, where we take a look at the past from the lens of the present. And we also look at what people in the past were kind of looking at to look towards the future. And in that vein, we're going back and looking at some of the pulp heroes and public domain heroes that maybe haven't gotten a lot of love. Some of them are pretty obscure. Some of them you may know. Some of them you've probably never heard of, but we're going to introduce them. In that vein, while I was researching our first guy we're going to visit, the Crimson Avenger, I got a notice that there is a new show coming out on Amazon Prime that I was not aware of. You guys may not know about this, or you might. Zorro is returning, and he will be returning toot sweet the 19th. It will premiere in Latin America and I believe the United States, and then Spain and Portugal a few days later. Now, I had promised Bill a long time ago that we would do a Zorro show like we did the old spotlights back in the day before old Jonezer kicked me out and took my spot. But
you abandoned your post, sir.
I did.
You.
But so what I'm doing, I'm going to do a short Retro Nuevo, what I call a quick trip. We've got the way back Winnebago gassed up. We're just going to zip in, look at just some of the highlights of Zorro, talk about the new Prime show, and zip back out. But we will do a deep dive at some point in the future with Bill, as promised. Just to be determined, because we both got irons in the fire right now.
And I appreciate that, Largo. But I wanted you to get a chance to come on and to kind of let everybody know. Now, do you know about when that Weird-Ohs Noirvo or whatever the look back at the past is going to actually premiere for Zorro? Is that going to be Monday, Tuesday?
Well, it's Retro Nuevo because I spend a lot of time with Spanish-speaking people. Retro Nuevo, old new. I just finished doing the audio, and I should have it uploaded hopefully tonight. So I'm going to premiere it sometime tomorrow. I don't know exactly when. It'll depend on how long it takes me to get this thing up in the cloud. But I wanted to get it up and out before the Prime premiere of the show, and then once the show's been on a little while, maybe that'll be a good time for us to come back and do a deep dive and revisit the whole thing. One thing I will say that one reason it probably wasn't on people's radar is that it is a Spanish-speaking video. It's all filmed in Spanish. It was filmed in the Canary Islands, Spanish part. And it's trying to be more historically accurate to what was going on in the early days of California in the 1900s. So I've got a good feeling about this. It's not going to be like that train wreck that they did with Tolkien. I think it's going to be more along the lines of what they did with Jack Reacher and the Terminal List. I think this is going to be a good one.
And I can't wait to see what you got there cooked up for us. I will be watching that when it premieres, hopefully tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen here Monday, guys. I think that the heat miser's done got with the snow miser, and they have decided that it's going to get cold here in Southtown, and it's going down below zero come Wednesday, and it's
we're already
slowly
below
creeping there
zero
now.
here. I'm below zero till
Yeah,
next
well,
Sunday.
it doesn't do that either. Yeah. Usually
I
the
did
heat
have a
miser doesn't
question,
allow that to happen.
I did have a question for Jim if he knows the answer.
42.
This Zorro show, is this going to be like an ongoing series, or is it like a mini series, or what do we have here?
From what I've been able to glean from the interwebs, it is a new series. It will be at least 10 episodes. And if this does well, they will continue and do a series 2.
And if I understood correctly, this is going to be all Spanish speaking with subtitles?
That is correct.
Okay. And do they have anybody cast, obviously? I mean, obviously they filmed it and all that. Anybody we know?
Not unless you watch telenovelas or a lot of movies that are in Spanish. The actors they have are named actors from the Spanish-speaking world. So
okay, so they're stars in their own country. Got you.
Sounds good. I can't wait to see what you got planned for us. Are you privy to like some production photos or anything from it, or are you just going to talk about Zorro in general and related to this?
Well, like any good YouTuber, I stole photos wherever I could find on the web. There are a couple of set photos out there, not much. Most of what I have is the official Amazon releases, but they're pretty cool. The cinematography is good. The location is beautiful. The area of the Canary Islands where they filmed, there's a lot of older vintage style houses, so it really fits that 1900s kind of vibe. So they picked a good location. Nice. The cast, they're a handsome bunch, so it'll be pretty to look at if nothing else.
Well, okay,
sounds good, man. And I know you're. Go ahead, Larg. Go ahead, Jones.
I'm sorry. I was a fan of the old Disney show, and they had the chubby guard from the Mexican police. Please tell me they got a chubby guard in here.
There are guards. As to their Zaftig, I don't know. Probably more than one will be a little plump.
It'd be nice to get a little rub from that old show in there.
I love that show, and that was part of the. It was like one of the favorite scenes is when he put his Z on that guy's belly.
Right, iconic.
Yeah. Now, are they going to try to go back to the old novel? What was that? The something Capistrano.
The Curse of Capistrano, the very first story from 1919. Yeah. Yes, from what I understand, this director, this whole production company is very passionate about going back to the original source material. They've even brought back Don Diego's first sweetheart that was in the original novel. Or, well, it wasn't a novel. It was a series of short stories in All Story, which was a pulp publication. Eventually it became a novel. But, yeah, they're going back, getting some original characters. They're adding some new characters. It is a different interpretation, but they're going to stay true to the original spirit as much as possible from what I've seen, from what they've talked about in press releases.
Very good. I know you're a busy man and you've got things to do. You're welcome to stay as long as you want, but feel free to leave, because we're fixing to get started on this. And if you want to get roped into it, you just let me know right now, because we're talking about culling collections right now.
I'd love to. I need to clear the shelves. I've bought a whole bunch of fuzzy head Kung Fu Grip Joes, and they've kind of taken over my Valiverse shelf. So I've got to reorganize and make some space. I will plug a couple things, and I'll boogie so I can button up this video and get it premiered. This year for Largo's Lair, we are focused on storytelling, whether that be through our toys, our dollies and good stuff, or just looking at lore from all sources. One of them is going to be some of the crappy poetry I wrote a few years ago in my book IQV. A couple of these are already up on the channel. I'm just taking the better excerpts. I'll try to leave the cringy stuff on the cutting room floor. We're doing some other stories with a series called The Wolves Within, where we're going to talk about doggos and things of that nature. And, the darker sides and natures of folks that sometimes it's best explored through storytelling. So we're going to try that. We've got a kind of a photo story contest going called Operation Brainstorm. That'll start in February, where I've challenged some of the other guys who do photo stories and things of that nature to come up with their pitch for a 1980s TV show pilot using their guys. I'm using Captain Action and a few other guys, and we'll just see what we come up with. Some of them will be serious. Some of them might be goofy sitcoms. I don't know yet. I don't know what these guys are going to come up with, but it'll be fun, whatever it is. So that's my plug
good,
for now.
what have you and Will got going on?
1A team will be on tomorrow. Whatever the latest news is for the 3.75 inch guys, I don't know yet. I got to compare notes with him later. And we have a couple guests lined up on that show for this month. We just got through talking with Ken and Steve from Delta 17. That's a new line that's coming out. That is out. Will be available for purchase in the next few weeks. Infinite Playlist Monday. We've got Allison, the retro toy princess, and we'll have a couple more guests coming soon. So we're working on a bunch of stuff. Got a couple of plates spinning, and we'll have something out every week, maybe twice a week. Who knows?
Good deal, man. I'm glad to see that you guys are up and running over there and started the new year out right. So good deal, Largo. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. I didn't mean to step on Cobb's time. Good to see you. We've hung out a few times on Oz's channel, and I'll catch you over there at some point. But I'm going to work on this video tonight. Thanks, guys, for letting me come in and horn in for a minute. And everybody have a good one. I will see you in the near future.
Well, and hey, Jim,
this was there, Largo. Oh, by the way, Zaisel has arrived, and he says this is by far the most handsome panel I've ever seen. And he's got stars in his eyes.
That was generous.
That was very generous, Zaisel. Thank you.
I was going to say, Jim, I'm just keeping this seat warm for you. So if you ever want it back, man, it's yours to have. But it was empty when I found it.
Trying to escape from me.
You're doing a fine job. I mean, the fact that you're a cheesehead, it's okay.
Jacob, maybe your turn.
That's right. You never
know. Guys, I'm going to let Largo go on his way. It's good to have you here. Good journey to you there, Largo, and we'll see you next time when you come back, all right?
All right. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you in the near.
All right. So let me go back to 3 guests here. There we go. And where did you go, Jonezer?
You went with Largo.
Looked like Jonezer turned his camera off. So he'll be back here shortly. It's just me and you right now, Jacob. Oh, there he is.
Yep,
Did you turn your camera off there, bub?
For a second there.
Okay. Anyway, well, getting back to the subject that we were on now, the chat has gone away from me, and I have no way of featuring it right now because it just quit working here right as the show started. So on that. I'm trying to see if I missed anything over here, and they're talking about rental tapes and VHSs and betas and I can tell you right now, I've got some VHS tapes that I haven't touched in years, and I have a working VCR in my bedroom, folks. But that's about as close as I've gotten to VHSs in years. It's all DVDs here, and I'm getting worried that I may not ever, if my DVD player ever goes out, what am I going to buy to play them on? Do they still make DVD players and sell them?
Xbox.
Yeah, I'll say you can pop it in your PlayStation or your Xbox. That's what I do.
Yep.
But I don't have anything like that.
You get an older Xbox or PlayStation cheap too.
Oh, you can buy those cheap. Okay, I'll have to look into that because I don't game.
Yeah, you don't even need a newer one. Get one of the old ones. They play DVDs. I'm sure they sell DVD players still too. I haven't gone out looking for one.
Well, I don't know that. I've heard that they're going to stop selling DVDs at Best Buy. Have you heard that one?
No, because I haven't been about to get in.
I haven't been at Best Buy. Yeah, I think that's why Best Buy is about to go out of business, right?
It's funny is I went to a whole shopping center the other day, and there's a Best Buy there. I was like looking at it, I was like, man, I used to go to Best Buy all the time back in the day.
It's going the way of the CD.
Some figures.
I still have all my CDs too and listen to them. I'm a big believer in physical media, but once again, that brings us back to collecting and what happens to our space when we collect too much or we got too much going on. Are you having issues with collecting and having your collection overrun your home there, Jacob?
Getting very close. Yeah. I got all my Motu stuff and then ventured off into other things now and little spots for each one of these different lines. And it's really getting filled up. Like just all my Motu behind me is overflowed to over here now. Plus all this other stuff I got going on. Yeah, I'm kind of running out. And I pretty much just keep everything in my same bedroom that I stay in. So no more room besides the kids' room.
Just out of curiosity, what lines are you collecting right now actively?
Not even exactly lines. I collect more anything like swords and sorcery, like barbarian type stuff. Anything I got some bunch of Dungeons and Dragons stuff from The Witcher. I got the Lords of Dragonor figures. And just anything that kind of pops up to me. Like I picked up that Batman that looks like a barbarian, that Page Puncher's Batman. Just a lot of random stuff, really.
Okay. I know that Jonezer and I, of course,
I just got into some Mythic Legions. Those are going
to. Don't tell me, are you into the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom as well?
No, I haven't. Not quite my thing.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Brick something will be sad to hear that.
I know. I'm good friends with Brick. Yeah. That's all him right now.
Yeah, it's a good line. I've had to sit down and really rethink the things that I'm buying as far as off the wall stuff that I don't normally collect. For instance, I got all these Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons cartoon figures, and I bought that whole line. And then I find out that Super 7's fixing to release it as well in 7-inch size. And then I'm sitting there going, boy, I don't know if I want to get the Ranger and the Thief, Sheila and Hank. But boy, that skeleton looks pretty cool. And look at those shadow demons, man. And I'm like, no, I can't. and so I didn't pre-order them, and I'll probably kick myself later for it, but it's probably for the best. You know, I've got all this stuff here. Half of it is now put in tubs where I can't even play with it anymore, and more of it's going to go in the same direction. So, I mean, what do we do? Do we go through and purge our collection? Do we Gojitron it like you're doing there, Jones, or what do you think, man?
Well, it depends on what you want to get out of it. Like I'll tell you this, like I wanted to sell the stuff to recoup some money, or some of it you made some money on because you could sell it for more than what you bought it for in some cases. And yeah, as you know, I'm trying to do a comic book business on the side. So to me, this is all money for the business kitty, you know. But the other thing, we were talking about this before the show. I love this stuff. You know, there's a reason I bought it in the first place. I'm a huge fan, and I've fandom for it. And the money is one thing, but to see it go to a good home, not like a flipper or somebody who's going to buy it, turn around, sell it for double, and it's just money to them and it means nothing. I sold my vintage Castle Grayskull, or one of them anyway, and the guy that got it was tickled, and I practically gave it away. Because the guy was just, you should have seen the look on his face. He's staring at it. He had like puppy dog eyes and everything. I knew what he was thinking. I can't afford this thing, but I really want it. And so I said, dude, shoot me an offer. I'll bet you I'll take it. And he's like, you'd be insulted. And so I threw him out probably one better than what he thought, you know, and I boxed it up for him and watched him walk away happy as a clam. And that made me feel good that it went to somebody who loved it. That was more to me than money.
And I bet you know, Jacob, are you having thoughts about culling your collection, or are you still in the same boat that I'm in? I want it all, and it's all mine. I tell you.
Yeah, my stuff's not going nowhere till I have like absolutely no space, or I have no more room. I'm gonna start putting some more shelves up, I think. So I'm not there yet at all. I have already in the past, so like just remind me, I got rid of a bunch of wrestlers back in the day. I had wrestlers, I collected those for a long time. And I had probably 400 something wrestlers. And I sold them all to a guy for a great price too, a yard sale. He came and his son just started getting into wrestling, and he saying, "Oh, my son would love all these," and his kid was looking at them all, and just I could tell one all of them. And I gave him such a great price. I was like, "You want all of them? Take them all for this." And he was just shocked. I was like, "Take all the little accessories, take the rings, take everything." I was like, I don't do anything with them anymore. I was like, "Go for it, man." And he was just so happy, and it was such a good feeling too. That just that kid being so happy.
Right. Well, not only that, a father is going to get to bond with his son.
Yeah.
Over this. That's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I noticed that big shelf there behind you. So you're going to be putting up more shelving there in your toy area.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably right across from me. I got a whole wall, and then kind of up over here, probably put some upper shelves, like floating shelves, maybe, or just a wall-to-wall shelf, and be able to put some stuff up over here now too. Because this is getting pretty packed up. I don't know if you see it all, but all my Masterverse, one row, and all Origins behind me here. Whole bottom one is all Origins. And the top is just boxes of exclusives, Mattel Creations. And then got Eternia come in this year.
Oh, you got an Eternia. You bought into that. So
yeah, I'm all in on Moto. There's only, I think, one Comic-Con thing that I don't have, the He-Man Atom 2-pack.
Oh yeah, that was one of the first things that came out.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it, so I was just late to the party, and it's expensive now. I'm like,
yeah. But you got everything else other than that?
Everything.
Oh, you did.
Oh, except for the rooted hair She-Ra.
Which one?
The She-Ra with the real hair, rooted hair.
Yeah,
I don't have her.
That was an exclusive as well at one of the
those were the first. I think the first two exclusives, right?
Right.
Yes, those two go for a pretty penny right now too.
Yeah, and
I don't have any of the She-Ra stuff.
Other than that, I spoil myself with it.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling you guys earlier, and I'll tell the chat this too, because hey, Toy Mama, good to see you.
You know,
Rick said we haven't heard anything new on Origins vintage figures. Starting to get worried. I
I
think
heard
you
some
did hear
stuff.
something recently. Well, we've seen a
prototype.
Extendar and Cyclone.
Yeah,
Rock on.
The
Radical
production.
Toys had it on last night, showing Rock On
Yeah,
and
I saw it on
Eldar.
Instagram before that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're going to see some more of that as we get closer and closer to the Eternia actually getting released. I expect to see some activity around the time that shifts there, Rick. So I wouldn't get too worried. Yeah, the line is going to wind down. We know that it's starting to do that now, but I think that there's a lot more in store before it actually does.
Well, they're only got a short list of the vintage figures yet to fill, and then they could probably get away with a few characters that never made it, like Queen Marlena. I don't know why that hasn't happened.
I'm pretty sure she'll be coming to the Filmation line.
That'd be fine.
That's
At
what I
least
was
get
going to
her.
say. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not really all in on that. I did buy this pretty little girl right here. She's probably
Gotta
a
have her.
very beautiful figure there. So, and of course, as Mr. Home Arcade says, this is the first Tila that has a booty. Okay, the rest of them have that diaper in the back. So, you know, there's
Yeah,
that.
I'm also
But
glad there. I've got all the Filmations and even those turtles of Grace Call going too. I wasn't
are
sure
you
about
in
it
on
first.
that?
I got them all. Yeah.
You're all in on turtles. I'm gonna skip that. I like turtles, but I never bought into the turtles. I think the only Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure that I have is over there with Pimp Daddy Destro, and that's Hooker April O'Neil.
Oh, you have that Ravishing Reporter.
Yes, I've got her, and somewhere around here, I think I've got a regular April O'Neil. It's in one of the vintage boxes. I've got a ton of vintage stuff here. Most of it that I can get my hands on is the superpower stuff. But I'm thinking about now I'm getting rid of my Castle Grayskull back here that I painted and turned into a work of art. But I am thinking about getting rid of some of my vintage Motu figures, the ones that don't have full articulation, that I pretty much don't play with and keep put away and need leg bands in them and all that. So
I mean, that is one thing to hate about these Origins. When the Origins came out, if you need anything replaced or anything so much cheaper than trying to get a vintage one, and then like you said, the articulation, everything to go with them, they are great to have if you're not looking to go back and buy all the vintage ones again.
Well, as much of a vintage collector as I appear to be, I'm more or less out for nostalgia more than I am just saying I have something vintage in my hand. I'm more about the nostalgia. So you know,
these are perfect for me.
Origins do the trick, and they're much stouter and able to withstand play and time better than the older figures. So I may actually let go of some of my vintage stuff, some of it. The vehicles I can't part with, especially the ones that there are no equivalents of, such as that nice Dragon Walker that someone was so happy to have sent me here a while back, as well as my Attack Track. See, I don't think that we'll ever see a real vintage looking Attack Track in this line. I think that's about done with as far as
the
vehicles.
things that
close, right? Wasn't that one of the crowdfunding ones, the Attack Track?
That was going to be the
Filmation version.
Attack Track.
Yeah, the
big
Filmation
thing that I don't want.
Yeah.
See, where the line was drawn when we're talking culling the collection, or for me, when I started pulling vintage Motu off my shelf, as you can see, the one farther behind me is emptier, and we're rearranging here. You know, I'm also
he's in a different position, people, than you normally see him, and he's at a right angle to where he normally sits.
Right, we're changing things around, but what I was getting at though, as far as where the line was drawn for me, I took everything vintage Masters of the Universe that Origins had already did. and put it in a tub.
That's what a lot
And
of
then
people have to do.
I kept like my Rio Blast and my just the ones they haven't done yet. Dragster. I kept a Battle Ram because I don't feel like Origins is ever going to get around to doing the Battle Ram.
Rick just mentions that. Give us the Battle Ram, Mattel.
Right. So I kept my Battle Ram. Plus, you can never have too many Sky Sleds. So I still got a couple. I got the old Sky Sled and the new one. They look fine together, and that was where I drew the line. I kept my Spy Door. I kept my Fright Zone. I'm keeping all that stuff until it has a decent replacement. But that's where I drew the line for me, in that. And the only one I kept in duplicate, I have a Snout Spout that my stepson got for me. And so I kept that, even though I have an Origins one I like better. That one, if someone gives me a gift to something, I usually keep it, that for sentimental value.
And that's understandable. But yeah, as far as culling goes, like I said, some of this vintage stuff may have to go, but I can tell you right now, my Superpowers collection is safe as houses over there in its special closet where it stays. The Motu stuff is probably going to go. I'm thinking about getting rid of some of this Marvel Legends stuff that I've got stuff. I know you probably didn't get a chance to watch any of that, but last week before last, I actually showed and boxed up the boxes of those Walgreens exclusive Fantastic Four figures I was telling you about. And of course, I ordered those figures from Big Bad Toy Store that were on sale of the Fantastic Four in their white and blue outfits. And I doubt I'm going to even take them off the card. I may have to flip those.
Yeah, I got a Dr. Doom coming. I couldn't help it. And so I found him.
Word. Now you spent some money on that.
I got him actually. I got him at a bit of a discount. I sent a best offer that I didn't think the guy would accept, and he accepted it. So
that's pretty cool. That normally doesn't happen on the Evil Bait.
No.
Now, what were you saying there, Jacob? You said something about vintage. I heard.
Oh yeah, because since Origins and everything came out, I've just been collecting all those. But I did go on my way to go get me Battle Bones. I got vintage Battle Bones because I saw one intact and not too bad of a price. That was like early on the line. Early on,
that gets back to what Jonezer was saying. The some of the vehicles and play sets that they're never going to do, or
that's
they
why
haven't
I got it.
done.
I didn't see them doing that.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. And if they do, it won't be. I don't think it's going to be exactly what you remember on the Battle Bones, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a Fright Zone. I don't think we're going to see a Slime Pit. I'm just saying.
That Fright Zone came in second place for.
Yeah, it did. But
what won that? Was it the Snake Layer that won?
Snake Layer won. So I think it depends on how well this Snake Layer actually does. How many people it brings in, how many backers and everything. We might get a Fright Zone still here in the future.
I'm an eternal pessimist.
That Snake
I'm
Layer.
an eternal pessimist when it comes to stuff like that, because I found that I'm never disappointed, and occasionally I get pleasantly surprised.
Well, I never thought that Motu Origins was going to go past the first year. I mean,
I didn't either.
I agree with that. I remember being happy when we got the original wave of vintage figures. That was all the more I expected or hoped for.
I thought
we got way beyond that.
I thought I'd be going back and buying all kinds of vintage characters to be going with my Origins, and never in a million years thought I'd have 2 full shelves just completely packed
with Sunmans and made up characters and all kinds of people added in.
Right. Frogmongers and random.
The Frogmonger was probably one of the few of the made up characters that I thought was a worthy addition, to be honest with you guys.
Well, there's a few of them that were cool. Yeah, Cold R. I mean, he was like in one episode.
I wanted to get that, but by the time I got in the restroom and got my phone out, they were already sold out.
Yeah, I'll leave the guy nameless, but a guy in the community, he got an extra one, and he sent me a private message, said, "Hey, I'll send you a cold R if you want one." And I was like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's probably somebody out there that would really want that thing, but it ain't me. You know what I mean? And I did not care. I that guy was in a very forgettable episode of the Filmation show. I don't even remember him. I seen the episode, but I mean, it's like I
didn't know him either. I had to go watch the episode because I was like, who?
Yeah, it to me, it was like not one I cared about, and I knew the figure was expensive and people couldn't get it and people wanted it, and so I hope he moved on to somebody that, because I'll be honest, I would have just flipped it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I wanted to go to
Rick,
somebody.
Rick says the Fright Zone must come out. We have the Horde Clan. I would like to see them do. I doubt I'll buy a Fright Zone. I don't have the Horde here to go with it, but I would like to see them do the Fright Zone and get that done.
I think I had the three: Snake Mountain, Grayskull, and Fright Zone. Those were the three we had, and
to be honest with you guys, I was surprised that they did Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. That was the to me that was the triad. Grayskull.
You know what? Those are all on clearance.
Yeah, big time on clearance.
Those are all on clearance. So I don't think you're going to see much more of shit like that. Because they're
they fucked up Point Dread. The Talon Fighter was fine, but the Point Dread was at the wrong scale. What the fuck, Mattel?
Yeah, but I mean, I think whether they realize that's their mistake or not, those things died on the shelf, and they're not going to make more stuff like that. That's going to die on the shelf. They're going to back off and go where it flies off the shelf.
I felt bad. I got gifted my Point Dread and stuff from the Frenzies, like over all the Patreons and friends of Oz's and all them. They went together and bought it for me as a gift, and I felt bad later. I'm like, man, now they're $15 on the shelf. You guys went all in and bought me a gift.
Wow.
Yeah, they're giving them away.
Well, yeah, I bought mine. I think from Amazon back when they came out when they weren't supposed to. Same thing with the Snake Mountain. I've seen people say that they saw Snake Mountain in Target. I never saw a Grayskull or a Snake Mountain in Target, but I did see
one time.
I saw the Point Red on sale for $15 last time I was
at Target.
I saw a Grayskull a couple times, and I even ordered my Grayskull through a Walmart, not through the mail. But like I seen it came available at my local Walmart, and I scheduled a pickup. And then when my wife got done with work, she went and got my toy castle for me and brought it home.
I ended up with three of them now.
Yeah, I've got an Origins Grayskull, but it's put away because I have this work of art back here that I use for my Grayskull. So maybe I'll want to sell that, but I'm probably not. But I've had to rethink what I'm ordering as well. I got into this thing of ordering all this NECA shit last year. I've got NECA Flash Gordon. I've got NECA Ming the Merciless. That none of it's been removed out of its packaging. And here's the deal, folks. What do we collect this shit for if we're never going to take it out of the package?
To dust it.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
I got nothing in package except for duplicates and maybe a couple like exclusives, but everything else I've opened up.
Yeah, and I seriously, I've sat down and thought about it. Do I really need all this stuff that I'm never going to take out of its package? I'm seriously wondering about that, and then I'm looking at all this stuff that I had pre-ordered, and I'm like, maybe I don't need to pre-order this stuff. Maybe I don't really need to have all this stuff over here taking up all this space. Maybe I need to concentrate. Yes, sir.
If I may, Bill, I've answered all your problems. You pack up all the stuff that you don't want to have that is unopened. You put it on eBay. you get yourself some money and you repurpose that money to what you do want to do with it. Maybe said for your new computer or for some of those toys you wanted to order that you couldn't order. That's what I would do if I was you. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm repurposing the things I don't want or don't need and getting that money back, or some of it back, or making money on some of it. You'd probably be surprised. I bet you've got some older shit that people want that they can't find no more. You probably got your computer sitting behind you.
You know, you're probably right, Jonezer. I probably I probably need to talk with you some in the coming weeks about how to, you know, I've got an eBay store, but what I really want to do is make a separate eBay store than the store that I purchase with to sell. And I may need to think about doing that and putting some stuff up there and putting some feelers out there. I'm just so scared of this online selling crap because I'm just afraid I'm going to get burned by the bad guys that are buying.
I'll be honest with you. That's bound to happen. The more you go to the well, the more you're going to eventually get a bad cup of water. But here's the thing. I've sold many things over eBay. I got burned once, and it was for a really cheap comic book. You know, eBay is pretty good about doing disputes, but if you don't want to deal with eBay, there's still Whatnot. There's what's that other one? M something. Macari, thank you. Or you could do Facebook Marketplace and try to hit it local. I do that with like the Castle Grayskulls or the Snake Mountains, or the things that are too expensive to ship. Like I had a big Ninja Turtle sewer play set that was like fucking 3 feet tall or whatever. That thing was going to be like $100 to ship. So you do it over Facebook Marketplace, and there's geeks in your area. They maybe even drive to go get that.
Well, that's like me with this Galactus. I had an extra Galactus and was going to sell it. And pretty much just that price to anybody. I had a couple of them. I sold one to Jay over there, Geeked Out Life. And I had this other one to sell. And I just thought about shipping and everything, and then marketplace and stuff. Ended up, I just did a live video with my son and gave it to him for his birthday. And he was so shocked. I was like, hey, want to do a live video with me? I was like, we'll open up the Galactus finally. And it was a couple days after his birthday, I was in the middle of the video. I was like, oh, here's your batteries. You know, all my batteries. I was like, yeah, for your Galactus. And he was just so shocked.
So
like,
cool.
Yeah, it was
No,
cool.
that's cool. I'm looking at those myself, being a Fantastic Four connoisseur. I have to figure out how I'm going to have a said Galactus at some point, whether I have to build one or buy one or what have you.
I know where there's an old Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Galactus. I know where there's one of those at. It's over at my daughter's place. She took that with her when she took a lot of her figures with her. And at one time, you know, she was little at the time, but that was, I think, when Toy Biz was doing it. And that one wave, I was able to get everything except War Machine, or it was one of those. I think it was War Machine was the one that I couldn't find, and that's the one I had to bite the bullet and go to the Evil Bay and get. And we got everything that she needed to build her Galactus, and I had it in here at the house for years. And then when they decided to move back down here and get their own place, she came in and cleaned out all the stuff that she said was hers.
Now that one was scaled like he might have been like 3 times or 4 times a regular Marvel Legends figure. Yeah, so he wasn't like super big, but he's big enough.
No, he wasn't ridiculously big. I'm sorry, folks. I know that the one that they did here a while back that's like as tall as I am or whatever it is, that's ridiculously big. As far as
right.
I hear you. I want to try to hit this chat real quick.
That's why I gave it to my son so I could keep it still.
Yeah, there were a couple things that stood out over here on the chat here. Prop Actor Rick says Queen Marlena is easy to make. They probably could use Tila's face and body under a green dress. I don't know. Yeah, maybe her face, but they would have to change the hair a little bit.
Put a little crown on her head, just a new head.
Yeah, but with that new Tila and that buck, they're probably going to be doing a lot with that.
You were the one. You were the one that figured out that you could take her clothes off and make her naked.
Wasn't quite me. Allison, Retro Toy Princess. Before I did my video, me and her talk a lot, and she's like, "Oh, when you do your video, can you see if that armor comes off?" And I was like, "Yeah, I will," but I was like, "None of the origins or their armor doesn't come off." I was like, "Yeah, I'll check." Sure enough, I got into it and started doing the video. I was like, "Damn it, Allison was right. This comes off. What the hell?" So that was.
You have to heat that up to get it to come loose, or did you just pry it off?
No, it's really. Oh yeah, you have it. It's stretchy enough. I just took all the arms, head, and waist off, and just.
I started to see if mine would do that, but I stopped because I was afraid I was going to rip the plastic, so I didn't.
I was in the middle of making my video. I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go for it." I was like, "If anything, I'll buy another one," but wanted to do it so I could show it off on camera if it was able to or
not. Radical Mom says, "I don't want to get rid of anything that I like." Sounds like me. Nightwing has arrived. What's up, Bill and Jones? Good to see you there, Nightwing. Oh, and here comes Rick. Give me your Remco figures, Bill. Are you talking about the Origins ones that I made of the Rim? No, you cannot have them. Now I do have some Remco figures. Like I think I've got Arak back here. That's an actual Remco figure. Now we may talk some on that one. I don't want to give it to you, but we'll talk about it. And moving on down, I think that takes care of it. It says Rick says to All Music Fan 88, Mattel Creations should give us another chance at some of the figures that have come out, like Lady Slither. So I have a feeling that a lot of that stuff may come available as made to order, like they did Grizzlor. What do you think there, guys?
I hope so for people who wanted one that didn't get one. That's good business.
Was she one that sold out real quick? I got a couple of her, but I don't know how fast she sold out. I mean, I feel like they're only because that made to order Grizzlor was kind of just because it was going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive, and they knew how many people were going to want. And the only other made to order was that $1 because of the whole fiasco that happened. So other than that made to order, I don't see it really happening with anything.
$1 and Grizzlor were made to order at one point. I don't.
$1 was because they screwed up and put them back up and screwed out everybody that second half of the day. And Grizzlor, the only reason was he was so popular, and he's part of the original vintage line. So,
my thought with these exclusives, I don't know about $1 being part of the original vintage line. $1 was hard to get even back
where
then.
He's coming from. That was the mail away figure that they were originally wanting to do, and it didn't kind of turn out the way they wanted to because some Karen mom wrote that nasty little letter to them. But go ahead there, Jones. What was your thought?
Well, what I was going to say is I don't know why any of these exclusives aren't made to order, or they should make all of them that way. Because to me, that's you're leaving money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand. They are definitely leaving money on the table. The second it sells out, that means somebody wanted one that didn't get one. So that means that there's one.
What I don't understand is why they don't have a storefront like Todd McFarlane does, like Super 7 does, like every freaking other toy company. Why is this Mattel Creations a Mattel exclusive? Why has it got to be that? Why can't they just sell their shit straight from their toy company and you go in and you order what you want and not necessarily sell it out immediately like that? I mean, that doesn't make any damn sense.
You know what's crazy for me is where I live, I'm about 30 minutes from Mattel warehouse, and they have the warehouse where everybody goes and works and stuff, but right on the side of it they have a little shop where it's
Mattel store.
Yeah, but it's not the El Segundo one. but in San Bernardino, and it's just a
So
little.
you're in Cali?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have found some random things there. They had like the Turnian guards. I think these were exclusive for classics there. A bunch of them. I found some other like She-Ra exclusives they had, and a lot of stuff and a lot of damage stuff too. That you get like 50% off. So I've ran into a bunch of weird stuff up there.
Jacob, is that Eternian guard set got Scott Nylick in it?
Yeah, he's up.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a bunch of sets of them because they had like 50 of them there, so I picked up a bunch.
You know that the classics line had 2 Scott Nylick figures in it. Did you know that, Jonezer?
I did not.
Yeah, one of them was the Eternian guard. It's got his face, and the other one was the Almighty Spectre.
Oh, sure, the Spectre Creative.
So we're all awaiting with bated breath for the Origins. There he is, right there.
He keeps the mask on.
Yeah, we're all waiting for Mighty Spectre to be released in the Origins figure line.
I'll get them. I get everything though.
Yeah, no, I when Origins first came out, I was grabbing everything up, and then I think I've kind of lost my enthusiasm for it over the years, and now I'm kind of picking and choosing. I'm kind of picking and I'm not getting all the repaints. I passed on the Sunman guys. There was a lot of it that I just didn't have any nostalgia or love for or any interest in. So I'm picking and choosing what I want and getting what I want.
Need this Sunman.
There you go. That one looks cool.
That's one of the reasons I hate this fact Scott put himself in the Motu line. But yeah, Rick, I agree. But that's one of the reasons why I passed on some of the figures that have been very, very popular with some of the younger guys than me, such as the Horde and the Snake Men. Now, as far as Evil Horde goes, I had already decided that I was going to kind of skip on that line because of the availability of Grizzlor early on. I said, well, if Grizzlor is going to be hard to get, and I can't get the core Horde line, I'm just not even going to worry about the Horde. And the Snake Men were completely off of my radar because by the time they came out, I was, eyeing girls and getting ready to go off to foreign lands and play in the mud and all that kind of crap. So,
Right. Well, the Horde was essential to me growing up. When that first came out as a kid, that was a game changer. We had already had He-Man versus Skeletor, the good guys versus the bad guys. And to me, to have a third faction where they're not friends with Skeletor, they're not friends with He-Man, now we have a 3-way fight, that my little kid mind was blown away. And this was before it was incorporated into the She-Ra cartoon and it got a different shine over there. Yeah. But in my original little kid mind, Hordak and Mantana and Grizzlor fight He-Man and Skeletor. She-Ra wasn't even a thing yet when those toys came out.
I'm looking over here at what's going on over here in the chat. I wish I could feature this on the screen. I'm so mad that my featured chat thing isn't working tonight. Rick says, I hate the fact that Scott put himself in the Motu line. And then Jeff comes back and says he didn't. The Four Horsemen created that head of Scott as a surprise for him. At least that's what Scott Nylick says anyway. And then Rick says he could have objected to it. And then would you if it was your face? And Rick,
nope.
Yes,
I would have wanted to be in it. I wanted to be a part of Masters of the Universe since I was freaking 3 years old. I ain't gonna lose that shot now.
I'm with you there, Jonezer. If they had done that, I would have released it too. But the Mighty Spectral figure was the one that the Mighty Spectral figure was the one that I always look at with a funny eye at. What the hell, Nylick? But other than that, you know, and of course, I watched him the other day. He was trying to justify all that shit he said last year about this time.
Yeah, I just caught that too because I haven't really stayed up with them. But I was like, wait a minute, he's got some more stuff still poking at that. Trying to
well, the thing that got me was he had what Obi-Wan Kenobi going from a certain point of view. Yeah, from a Scott Nylack point of view, trying to look back on things and justify all that junk he said that didn't hold any water. But yeah,
that's why they call speculating. That doesn't mean it's not factualating.
Mighty speculator.
Mighty speculator. There you go.
You know, we're all just married to our own opinions and, you know, our own ideas. It doesn't mean
what they say about opinions.
All right.
Oh, hey, Adam. Adam says, I love the Horde faction. It's probably why I love She-Ra so much, because in the cartoon show, the He-Man show had come to its conclusion, and She-Ra was pretty much the new show they were making, so they put the Horde on She-Ra.
Well,
which I thought it was weird, because when you went to the toy store, the Princess of Power stuff was in the little pink packaging, and it was over there with the girl toys where it didn't have any business being. And the Horde, which was part of the She-Ra show, were over here on Motu packaging in the boy side of the store.
Again, I disagree. When those toys came out, there was no She-Ra show. That happened later. The Horde came out, She-Ra wasn't a thing. You know, that they even the mini comic story where the Horde is brought into the fold, She-Ra's not even mentioned because she's not there. She's not a thing. They retrofitted them into that just to make it work. In my mind, she's not a part of it. You know, like later they figured her in, and I very much enjoyed She-Ra and watching that show. But to me, the Horde's original shine to me was them coming in as a third faction, and they had that like Hordak you look at, like Dracula and Grizzlor is the Wolfman, Leech is the creature of the Black Lagoon, you know, like they had that horror movie vibe to them.
Getting back over here to the chat, Mike Feast showed up. Hey Mike, it's good to see you, man. I hope you're feeling good today. He says, I need to sell a lot of my stuff. And Rick says the Guardian Guard, not too bad. It's the other one of his I have a problem with. Oh, you talking about Spectre? You're with me on that one. Mike B says he has a vintage Grayskull 100% complete, and of course Alex over there. How much you selling that for? And he says, I'm not sure. He probably ain't selling that, Alex. I wouldn't.
Well, and even to further get into more of that Horde stuff, when the She-Ra toys came out, their mini comic, the villain was Catra. There was no Horde.
Yeah, right.
There was no Horde.
Well, Rick has a good question. You might be able to answer there, Jones, or maybe Cobweb can get in on that. Did girls collect the Horde clan back in the day? We the inquiring minds want to know.
My sister did, because she was a fan of the cartoon, which we watched together when it premiered on TV. That's one of my favorite memories, is sitting there with my little sister watching that. And yeah, my sister had a Hordak, and I don't think she had any of the other characters, but she definitely needed a Hordak, so him and Catra could wreak evil on her She-Ra dolls, which I borrowed relentlessly.
Okay, you play with She-Ra too, I take it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Cobb? Are you old enough to remember that cartoon show, or is that kind of before your time?
No, I watched cartoons. I was born in '82. I'm the same age as He-Man, so
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was still going by the time I was probably like 5 or 6 when I first started getting into He-Man stuff. But most of my figures and everything, I don't even really remember getting He-Man or anything in package much. I got a lot from Swap Meet, I know, Goodwill. My Castle Grayskull, I remember getting at the Goodwill. And most of the figures, I think, like, I remember the packaging I don't really remember mini comics all that much. I remember like seeing a couple, maybe had a couple because they came from the swap meet or something. But yeah, by the time I was kind of getting into it, like when I was 5 years old, it had been 87 already. So everything was kind of dying out. But yeah, the cartoon was still going before school, after school, and all day long. I would watch it all the time. And then She-Ra too. I don't remember She-Ra as much. I don't think I watched it as much as I did just regular He-Man, but I remember it being on too, though.
I remember the He-Man cartoon show, and I vaguely remember about the time the She-Ra came out, but I never watched a whole lot of the She-Ra because I wasn't watching any of that stuff at that point in time when She-Ra came out. But Rick says that he had two cousins who collected the Princess of Power figures, but none of them had Horde Clan in their collection.
I'm asking Carol right now.
Yeah. I think there were two villains in that. I think there was Catra and Double Trouble, and I cannot remember any other villain in that line.
Did your sister have the Swift Wind and the Crystal Palace and
castle and the whole shit?
Well, what about Jonezer? Has Jonezer ever wanted to have a crystal castle in his collection?
I didn't need to because I would just go into my sister's room and borrow hers.
I mean, now.
Oh no, I have no interest in the She-Ra Princess of Power stuff, really. A few of them in the Masterverse line I was interested in. I have you can probably see it behind my head, the She-Ra Princess of Power. I've got Catra, and I think I got Frosta. I would love to have a Bow and a Glimmer, and I'd probably be done.
Those are coming out.
What about the Shadow Weaver?
Oh yeah, I got her too. Yeah, I liked Shadow Weaver. Yeah. But
Rick,
as far
I probably know why Rick never saw the Princess of Power stuff in the stores. It's probably because you didn't go to the Barbie aisle over there where they were.
Right.
Now here's an interesting dynamic. I was asking Carol, Oz's sister, about if because she collected all the She-Ra, was into She-Ra as a kid. And I knew she collected them. I asked her if she ever collected the Horde and Hordak and stuff, and she said no, because Oz had the Horde and stuff. She would play with his Hordak and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay.
She was playing the reverse game I was
playing. She was. I know, right? She was able to play with his instead of like the brother be like, oh, can I use your She-Ra? She was over there playing with his Horde stuff. So.
Well, and that's great because they're brother and sister, and that's my memory of watching the She-Ra Secret of the Sword. I remember when it premiered on TV, and me and my sister, I want to say it came out in prime time. I remember watching it like late in the evening. Well, not late, but like the sun had set, and I remember me and my sister sitting on the couch watching that. And I remember just feeling this, like, I don't want to get all freaking sentimental, but it was like this, almost like a spiritual bond. Like, here's me and my baby sister, and look, He-Man has a sister, and this is the show about that. And it's a magical moment to me that I remembered forever. And it was special. So that's why the Princess of Power and She-Ra stuff means more to me than to most old school He-Man collectors, because I had that little sister in that bond.
There you go. That's a good story. I appreciate you sharing that with us, Sir Joneser. Looking over here at the chat, Johnny Sorensen is joining us tonight. He says he's jonesing for some late night. Well, you're here, and you're getting it.
See what you
did. Rick said, I was a boy's boy. Anything related to the girly stuff, I didn't want anything to do with. Okay. Rolando Flores says, for Origins, I wanted He-Man, Skeletor, and for Revelations, I want Scareglow. And I picked up some of the Revelations figures. And I'm curious, the new show is going to be dropping here just within a few days. And have you watched the latest trailer, Joneser, for Revolution?
I did. You asking what I think?
Of course.
Here's my problem with the I'm gonna rewatch the first one that I wasn't over the moon happy with. I watched it. I think it's better in the second run than it was the first time for me. I'll see how it goes the third time I watch it. But I want to watch it so I'm ready for the next one. Here's my problem. The things I didn't like about the first bit, I think are going to be all in the second bit, and I'm going to tell you why. The things I hated the first time was He-Man was gone, which I don't think that'll be the problem this time, but the problems I did have was Skeletor didn't look like Skeletor, Beastman didn't look like Beastman, Teela didn't look like Teela. It did not look like Masters of the Universe to me beyond the first episode. And then when they got back to it, it took too long to get there. And then here we go again. Now Skeletor is not going to look like Skeletor. And they're going to do the same crap all over again, where it's going to be Masters of the Universe in name only, but it's not going to look like what I want it to look like. I'm that cranky old guy. Is like, why'd they take the underpants off Superman? Superman needs red underpants. What are we doing? You know, and that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I see everything that you're talking about, Joneser, and I was kind of wanting to see what Cobb thinks about it. Have you seen the trailer for Revolution, and are you planning on watching it?
Oh yeah. I enjoyed the first part of it too. I know there's a lot of like hate out there before people actually even saw it, and it just seemed like there was like some of YouTube videos and stuff. Just I know people, you get more clicks for hating on stuff, and I think that influenced a lot of people too before even watching it themselves. I wasn't really into that. I watched it myself, and there's a couple little things here and there that I was like, oh, could be different. What bothered me most was just Teela's voice. I didn't like Sarah Michelle Gellar as her voice. That's like my biggest complaint, and she's not going to be doing the voice on the second one. So
yeah, that's already improved.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I already like that.
For some reason, that bothered me more than anything. I don't know why. And I love Sarah Michelle Gellar too, but it's just her voice didn't match up to Teela for me. But other than that, though, I mean, it's something new, and it's giving the characters some like evolution. They're evolving some, trying different things with them, and I say it's not for everybody. We talk about it a lot with like Jonerz's and stuff. For everybody out there, you still have Filmation, you still have 2000X, you have mini comics, you have things you could still connect with. Those are never going to change. It's just a new take on it. And
new subscriber, folks. Zombie Hunter.
I heard something.
Yeah, we got some fireworks going off. We got a new subscriber, Zombie Hunter 115 is just subscribed to the channel. Nice to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. But back to the Revolutions. There's a couple of things that caught my eye this week. One of them was the return of Keldor. Someone was saying it looked like they're bringing Keldor into the fold there and kind of retconning Skeletor as actually being Keldor. What are your thoughts on that there, Joneser and Cobweb?
I'll jump in front here. I got the comics for the Revelation or Revolution or whatever the hell it was. And they retold Skeletor's origin. I think they were trying to be a little more like the mini comic where Skeletor came from another dimension where people looked like him and eating a race of Skeletor people. And that's all fine and dandy, except for the fact that there's a line in the show where he talks to Andra saying, "Oh, I had a face that nobody could love." And well, wait a minute. In this backstory, you had a wife and children, and then you lived in among people that didn't judge you, that looked like you. So why does this not make sense with itself? Now they're going to change it again, and now he's going to have a face, and he's going to been disfigured. Like Kevin Smith's story doesn't even go with Kevin Smith's story. But maybe
Did Kevin Smith write the freaking comics?
He did. He wrote the comic too, or with another guy. But there's 2 writers. But what
I don't think he wrote that shit. I think he put his name on it.
I've got it right over here. He did. His name's on it anyway, whether he wrote it or not. His name.
There you go. That's what I'm getting at. He might have put his name on it, but I don't know if he wrote that crap or not. I don't even think he cared what they wrote in the comic.
Well, it's supposed to set up the show. Like, it's supposed to be what happens right before.
Like
you're supposed to read that and then push play on the Netflix show. And if you do that, it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. There's a couple lines where you go, well, wait a minute. Your story's got some plot holes here.
Yeah, I got a feeling that the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, if you know what I mean.
Or care. I don't think no one's going to convince me Kevin Smith gives a shit about Masters of the Universe. This was his foot in the door at Netflix. That's my problem with
the whole thing.
This is his foot in the door at Netflix. That's all it is to him. He has no love for this property, and he never did. You know, no one's going to convince me he cares.
Well, I'm with you on that one, and there's empirical evidence of that from the past, but
from his own mouth.
As far as the new show goes, the other thing that caught my eye was He-Man wearing armor with the logo from the CGI series on it. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, Jonezer just popped out for a minute.
Well, yeah, I seen that too. Yeah, I think they like that design, didn't want to let it go, and just kind of maybe just another little nod to that show, even though it's not going to be around anymore. That's one thing about both Revelation and Revolution. It seems like they're just throwing out little nods to all over the place, from mini comics. Oh, just little things that were said, like in Revelations, like Moss Man smelling like pine, and just. They're trying to do a lot of.
Well, I think they're trying to bring a lot of things together into the fold.
A lot of fan service all over the place. Yeah,
there is, and there are some people connected with it that wrote like the DC comic version of it, and
even Pig Boy,
right? That are And I'm not one of these typical people that like hated the show and thought there was no redeeming quality to it. There, what like you said about the Mossman line, and the voice casting for Man at Arms was spot on. I thought it was great.
I love that.
There were some great moments in that show, and like I said, I enjoyed it much more in the second viewing because I wasn't walking in with the disappointment I had in my first viewing. So we'll see how the third one goes. Maybe this is one of those shows that's going to grow on me the more I watch it.
Yeah, that's like the more I watched it too. I didn't really have any kind of hate towards it at all. But even watching it a second time, third time, I was like, I do like this better than I originally did. It just catches you off guard kind of because you've known He-Man as this one thing for our whole lives. We've known him as Filmation. We've known him in many comics. Anything new is just going to be shocking to us. And we're all getting old too. And
right.
I'm set in my ways about a lot of stuff. So
right.
Getting something new is always that change.
Well, the art was good.
Animation style was great. The music was great.
The beginning with all that retro artwork.
That was my favorite part.
Oh God.
Yeah. I love that.
And it was all downhill after that.
it had its moments, but it did. It wasn't until we talked to Reploid Bill. Was that last Saturday? Last Saturday when
he was a fan of it too. He liked it,
But see, that kind of changed me and made me think. Okay, we're looking at this from a stunted old point of view, and he came into it fresh. He did not know
he didn't have
any lore in the backstory.
Yeah, he didn't have any vintage knowledge, or he didn't grow up with it like we did, and so it was different for him. He came into it at that point, But I don't know. My deal with it, and it's like I've said this a few times. I just wanted a muscle man riding a tiger, fighting a skeleton wizard over a castle. And maybe I got that, but it didn't look the way I wanted it to. The trailer looked the way I wanted it to. When I
The
saw that first
the
trailer,
trailer was meant to reel us in.
it
As a matter of,
it did.
I think that trailer was written and put the way it was as a direct result of Clownfish Television coming out with that.
Well, all that did was prove him right, though, because now it is a bait and switch. You did what he said right there by trying to say you're not doing it. You did it.
Well, Kevin Smith had that big Twitter fight with him about that too, if you remember.
I do.
I mean,
remember.
a lot of that Kevin Smith shit was off-putting to me, and it affected my viewing of that as a result.
But did you see when they put the video up of they doing the commentary after the show went? The downvotes on that thing was like blowing away the upvotes to the point where YouTube disabled the ability to.
When they got ratioed out into oblivion. But the tee-hee-heeing about, okay, we made everybody love Orko just so we could kill him off. Tee-hee-hee. That I don't know if they meant for that to be as off-putting as it sounded. I don't know. But all of that affected.
So disingenuous to me. I think of him as a phony. I'm sad he had anything to do with it. I'm happy to get new Motu. I hope he puts it down and lets someone else roll with it next.
Fat Kevin Smith and Skinny Kevin Smith are two different individuals. Completely. Fat Kevin Smith was walking out in a deserted field one night, and a UFO came down, and they zapped his fat ass up into the UFO, and they zipped him up into a pod, and they pulled Skinny Kevin Smith out of the pod, and they put him back down here on the earth. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, he's to me, he's the most off-putting thing about it to me. That and some of that writing was atrocious. I'm sorry. It just was, and I'm glad it got a fresh coat of paint. I'm glad that there's new Motu, but I couldn't help but this.
Here's the bottom line though. Both of our asses are going to be watching it, and Cobby knows this. He's down there giggling about it now.
No, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it too. I'm going to try to like it. I'm going to try to like Skeletor's robot eye and his freaking mechanical.
Yeah, Jeff.
I'm going to try not to sit there and go, "Where's Superman's red underpants?" I wish I could
throw some of this up on the screen.
Right.
Let me try to back it up here a little bit. Rick says, I watched Fire and Ice. That's all Cobb's doing. Moving on down. Mike B had to go to bed. You take it easy, Mike. Glad you showed up and hung out with us.
Said they watched Fire and Ice, Rick?
Yeah, Rick. Rick said he watched Fire and Ice. He blames you.
Blames me. It was awesome. You know it.
And of course, my chat screen is going nutty here. I like Salt says, one thing I like about your show, Bill, is you're up most of the night. Well, at least on Saturday anyway. And I've been doing those little up all nights on Friday again, but I'm trying to keep that to a minimum there. I like Salt was going back to something that you said earlier, Jonezer, about those comic books. He says the love of money more than the love of the show.
I think you're never going to convince me he did this on any other reason than to just get his foot in the door on Netflix. I think he even said it himself.
He did. I think he did admit to that. You're right. Why are they compared to Filmation? I say nothing about Revelation. It looks like Rick. Here's the reason that it's compared to Filmation, because that's what Kevin Smith said. He said that this was going to be a continuation of the Filmation cartoon if they had continued it. That was unequivocally a LIE. He knew it when he said it. He knew he could not do that because of the copyright and trademark issues resulting
Well, to
with
me,
that.
he watched 3 Filmation episodes. He watched the one with the Shaping Staff where Beastman and Evil Lynn paired together. So in his mind, they're boyfriend and girlfriend now. He watched the one with Queen Marlena and the Rainbow Warrior because then she knew I think someone gave him like 3 or 4 of the best episodes to watch. That's what he did. And he wrote his whole show around that. But if he was trying to do the Filmation show, he fucked Orko up because he sits there and tries to say, oh, well, Orko was a disappointment to his parents, and he comes in and he doesn't. And man, bullshit. Orko was Orko the Great. He was the greatest magician in all of Trala. It wasn't until he came to Eternia where his magic worked a little funny over there for some reason, And so to me, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he never did.
And you're right. And I think
the biggest continuation was just the Tila being Sorceress's daughter. They never really got to touch on in Filmation.
Here's the other thing he messed up. Man-at-Arms is not Tila's biological father, and he never had a relationship with the sorceress. There was a other man. In fact, he says it in Tila's Quest, where Tila asks about her mother, and he says
that was one of the episodes that they didn't give Kevin Smith to watch,
right.
And that's why
he says it. He says, your father was one of the bravest men I ever knew. He gave his life so all Eternians can live in peace, and then your mother is a secret I promise never to reveal. Well, instead, Kevin Smith has Elulin, Hump and Skeletor, and Sorceress and Man-at-Arms are romantically linked, and he wrote his own shit. And to try to even say, oh yeah, it's a continuation of this other shit that he didn't watch is just bullcrap. He wrote his own shit, which is fine. There's a million different versions of the origin, but there's a comic version. There's a million different ways to do it.
2000X, it was going to be Fisto.
Right. Yeah, he was the father in that version. And so there you can do the different versions. The thing that puts, I think, a lot of the fans off, because Cobweb and Reploid said the same thing. That a lot of people hated on it, didn't even watch it, which is a very fair criticism. But the people that did watch it and are critiquing it for the reasons are the problem I think most of them have is Kevin Smith's disingenuous lying ass, because he says shit that it doesn't even make sense with itself.
I agree with that. And that was the big thing that put me off about a lot of. That's why I watched it with the cynical eye that I did, was all because of Kevin Smith's forked tongue. And Miss Jamie Sanders has joined us tonight. Good to see you. And TK Magic Shop has come in, catching me live. And he's also one of my new subscribers. Welcome to the club there, TK Magic Shop. And Cobby,
the best thing that came out of that show.
There's Tila's Fisto's daughter.
Right there. That's the best thing that came out of that show. Right next to me. You got the freaking toys that are freaking awesome.
I thought you were pointing to one specific one.
No, just the
Masterverse line. Masterverse shelf there. And I think you're owning something there as well. The toys are great. Nothing wrong with the toys.
Best thing that came out of that. By far. Those are cool as heck. And if you missed the boat on Classics, this is a cheaper alternative to get that scale of figure.
Exactly
thank you, Kevin Smith, for Masters of the Universe Revelation, because I got to get the toys I wanted out of it.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. You're steering right into the Masterverse line and kind of leaving the Origins aside here lately too. Is that true, Jonezer?
I do think they're better. I do. I like them better. There's more to them. They're taller. They articulate well, and they're getting better at them. And a lot of the Masterverse versions are even superior to the classic version of the same character. I think they're better.
Yep.
And of course, Jeff is going all off the deep end here. All hail Kevin Smith. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. My bullshit meter just went off. And Radical Mom has stayed up late with us. She's normally in bed by now, so we're keeping her up. She's enjoying the conversation apparently. So,
Yeah,
but
with
yeah,
the Origins, I love collecting them for that nostalgic. I feel like these are what I had as a kid. Now with Masterverse, I'm like, this is what I have as an adult now. I can play with these. I can pose these. I could take some cool Instagram pictures with them. I play with those a lot more than I do my Origins.
I think they're better. And I think you want to talk about the line grew up, or the show grew up, like Kevin Smith was saying. It did right there. Because like you said, that the Origins hits that nostalgia rub, which it does really well. And then the Masterverse is, to me, the property grown up. And I do think the new Eternia ones are the stars of that line. Those are my favorite ones.
Now, I agree with you entirely on that one, Jonezer. And if I had the money to do it, I would probably go all in on the new Eternia line and collect that. I'm not, however, because I'm going to try to keep myself within the confines that I've set for myself as far as collecting goes. But the question that I have for the both of you guys: do either one of you collect the classic line, and how does it compare with the new Masterverse line? I will start with you, Jonezer, and then we'll go to Cobb.
One classics figure, and it was sent to me by a guy named J80 Hobbies. So I did not buy it myself. Jay sent it to me. It's a King Grayskull from the classics line, and it's a cool figure. I think I pulled it out of its box once when I did the video and thanking Jay for it. I have yet to take it out of there again. I'm keeping it, even though I know I could sell it for buco bucks. But like I said, if someone gives me a gift, then that's a gift, and I'm keeping it. Now, I don't buy classics. They're priced out. They're one of those things where if I can't get all of them, why would I get any of them? Like, I already did that with these freaking Marvel Legends. As soon as I bought one, I knew I was going to buy a bunch more. So that's where I'm at with classics. And also, I think these Masterverse are a great, cheaper, more available alternative. And a lot of the times they're better. I've seen comparisons of a classics, Beastman next to that new Eternia Beastman. And I think that new Eternia one's just a little bit cooler, in my opinion.
What about you, Jacob? What do you think about it?
Yeah, see, same with me. The only ones I got were those guards. Actually was trying to get that movie Skeletor, the gold one, at one point, because I see him bid going on eBay, and I think I lost in the middle of the night for like $50. I wanted him because I don't think we'll ever get him in Masterverse, but other than that, yeah, I only have the guards, so I have nothing to actually really compare them to. I mean, these are great. I have friends though that, I mean, most people I know, they're stuck on classics and they have them all. Their mind won't change at all. But I've seen some of the figures compared to them, and people that said, yeah, some of these are a lot better, like that Beastman, like you're saying. I think like that Too Bad we got. That Too Bad is just,
that is one of the cool.
Too badass.
You know what? You can put him with your Origins, and he kind of scales in there.
Right,
like he's just a giant two-headed monster for He-Man to slay. It's perfect.
Yeah, he's big. He should be big, right? Because he's supposed to be a monster.
Articulation, everything you got with these newer ones too, though. Just the posability and stuff. That's what. Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, I was looking for it because it's over here somewhere amongst this pile that's underneath the display area over here. I got my hands on the 40th anniversary He-Man figure that came out in the Masterverse line, and I bought it. And I was looking at the way that figure looks as compared to I don't have any classics, but I've seen pictures of them. Yeah, that one.
My prize possession.
I think that figure, yeah. That figure looks 10 times. Yeah, I like that. I remember when you did that there, Cobb.
I show it off as much as I can. I'm really proud of that one.
That is cool. That's probably my favorite video of yours, actually.
Yeah,
and it's my son's idea too. That's why I think it's so cool. I'm like, good job, dude.
but yeah, I think that figure is like 100 times, 1,000 times better than the classics He-Man figure that they came out with back when it came out. With the one with the reverse raccoon eyes that for some odd reason they put all that red paint around his eyes.
Yeah.
But
420.
that figure, the Masterverse figure is 100 times, 1,000 times better than that figure. And I don't know if it's just the newer way they're making the figures nowadays or what, but and another thing that comes to my mind, Joneser, was what we said when the Man-at-Arms figure came out from New Eternia. Here's the Man-at-Arms we should have got the first time around, right?
Right. No, it is. Because, I mean, you can get the non-mustachioed head. You got 2 options for helmet. It's even got the little spike ball deal like that they originally thought.
Mark Taylor originally had designed for his mace. Yeah, all that nostalgia stuff in there, the stuff that we kind of wish we had seen before.
All that concept art and stuff. Yeah.
I'm hoping Merman gets the same treatment because I got naked one-eyed Merman, which I didn't want, and I bought it because I needed a Merman. And then I got Kevin Smith Merman with the armor, but I wanted a New Eternia Merman.
I'm sure
I'm hoping we'll get one.
They have
popular enough. He's gonna.
I think the Masterverse line is going to continue for a long time more, even after the Origins line finally dies on out. It's long, slow, and painful death.
I was surprised that Masterverse kept going too. I didn't think either one of them.
I didn't either.
Well, I thought Revelation was going to kill it. But they were smart by coming out.
Yeah, when you start out with this, when you start out with that, that's why I was like, oh, I'm getting it. But
yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah,
that was Jaundice He-Man. If you notice, he's yellow in color, whereas that one is more correct.
Well, and they were smart to switch the brand up. They had Princess of Power. They have Revolution, they have Revelation, they have New Eternia, they've gone in different directions. That Barbarian He-Man, you want to talk about why does Superman not have the red trunks? Why does He-Man have a Viking helmet, and why do I like it?
That's Mark Taylor original concept artwork that they're teasing us with. And they said it. I think they said it, and a lot of people did not realize what they were saying when they said it when they came out with the Masterverse line. That the Masterverse line was going to be all encompassing, because if you notice, the Sunman stuff has been released in that, which is good. Right. Nothing wrong with that. The Princess of Power stuff has been brought into that as well. We're branching out into something that we haven't done before, which is the New Eternia line.
Well, Go ahead, Cobb. Masterverse even did those 2 CGI figures.
Yep, they
did. They're not on my shelf because they take up too much space and they just don't fit in at all in a box over here. But it is Masterverse. It's just a little bit from everywhere, which is cool.
Yeah, and they were that was far thinking on their part. Don't you agree?
Well, I'm hoping that that's not only what they're going to do in the toy line, but I'm hoping that this is where we're going with the cartoon too, because the latest comic books they've done, they were exploring, because everything's the Spider-Man multiverse and the Marvel multiverse. Well, now they're doing like the He-Man multiverse. So in my hope and dream is that Kevin Smith's version of He-Man will finish its swan song and fly off into the wind, and we will come back into a more fan servicey version that is what people are screaming for, and we're going to finally
maybe Zodak will come in and open up a window into another universe.
That's what happens in the comic.
Yeah, and this Revolution come up too, like even like the Keldor and all that go on. See, with all the multiverse stuff and all that, so popular and everything, I think there's a good chance that it could be some kind of interdimensional travel, time travel, and all that. And another thing we got coming up in that,
Gwildor, perfect guy to be able to do that.
Yes, this right here, that cosmic
go into a different He-Man world
This
here.
will have
with the
some kind of
Cosmic
effect, I'm
King.
sure, in
Yep.
Revolution that there'll be.
I'm hoping that's where this is going. I'm hoping they're setting the table for a eraser across the chalkboard, and let's start again with another fresh coat of paint.
And of course, the chat's going crazy over here. Articulation different, no wrist hinge, only on a few, but the ab crunch is the same as Super 7. Thundercats have it more. Never cared much for the Masterverse buck, says Adam.
Adam's a fan of the classics, which is cool. Just like if someone's a fan of the Revelation cartoon, I don't need you to think like me and hate what I hate and love what I love. It's very fine if you do you and I do me, and we all live in this world in harmony.
Yeah,
And I agree with that. Now, imagine a Masterverse castle, how huge it would be. Well, isn't there already one? It was the Classics castle. You can't beat
it's
that.
like $700.
I want it, and I probably will someday, knowing me.
I want that Snake Mountain.
I was gonna say with this new He-Man from that Battle Armor one that came with the Battle Armor from Revolution. This I don't know if you ever yet either, Jonezer. This is a brand new buck on him.
Bigger.
Yeah, and it's not the 40th anniversary either. And I didn't realize so after I stripped him down and looked at him, I was like, man, I really like this. He's got more of the Brock Lesnar up here. And it looks pretty damn cool.
No, I think the Masterverse has improved the toy line. It's learned where it's went wrong and it's improved. Like one thing that always bothered me as a kid, and this is just because of Mattel reusing molds but as a kid, I was like, they're all the same buff as He-Man. Like, shouldn't He-Man be super buff and then the rest of them be a little smaller? Like that's the way I
do you remember this, Jones? And I know you probably got rid of all of your old figures, but you look at that vintage line. There was something that's missing in even the new Origins line that was that in my kid mind I noticed it, and still to an adult I do. When you look at the bucks for the bad guys, the Beastly buck and the reptile buck, the one that was for Skeletor and Merman and Zodak. Well, Zodak used their arms in the chest from the Beastly, but here's the thing: their arms were never as buff as the good guy arms. Did you remember that? The Beastly arms and the reptile arms were not nearly as buff as the human arms that were on He-Man and Man-at-Arms, and even Triclops had the human arms that were bigger. Did you notice that the muscular?
I'm gonna have to look. I still have a bunch of them in the tote that are for sale.
Look at even Stratos' arms had
just in my head. I feel like his arms were smaller. Just imagining like Beastman.
For Stratos, we had the same arms.
Yeah, Stratos and Beastman had the same buck, but that's something that they didn't do. They just reused the arms, especially the upper arms.
Well, and I popped my He-Man arms off, and I had 2 Triclopses, and so I put Triclops' arms on
because his bracelets were painted. Yeah, I did the same thing.
So I did that.
I did the same thing. Yeah. Eternian Ellipse is with us. Hey, Sir Clifton. He says, I like classics. I still have a bunch that haven't been unboxed. Love Masterverse as well. I tend to be a glass half full on things, and I take the time to appreciate the stuff rather than negative pick apart. Nobody's really negative picking apart. I think what Jones's thing was, I just can't, and I'm like him, I can't afford to get them. And the other thing was that if you can't afford to get them and you didn't never have them in the first place, you've got something that's even better to get now. So, Jeff says
toys and cartoons, there's always something for everybody. There's
Motu's a big world. There's something in it for everyone, and you don't have to like every piece of it. I hated New Adventures. There are people who watched that and liked it. I couldn't stand it. I tried to watch it. I hated it. I was right back to that grumpy old man. Where's Superman's red underpants? Like,
Yeah.
I was a grumpy 17, 18-year-old. I remember, even at that age when I wasn't collecting toys, I still perused the toy aisles, right, just to see what was out there. And I remember seeing those new adventure figures at a Toys R Us in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm like, what is this shit? That ain't He-Man. He's too little.
You need to me.
I'll never forget as a kid that I saw a commercial. Oh, He-Man's back. New Adventures of He-Man's coming on. I went, was ready and watched that first episode. And I got to the commercial and I was just so disappointed. I went back and just started playing with my wrestlers. I was back.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to finish this episode. It was just so different. Like, no, that's He-Man's not back.
But what I'm getting at, there are people out there that like that. There are people out there who love New Adventures and watch the whole thing, and that's fine. Again, I'm not one of those people that, like, just because I didn't like it, I don't find it my mission in life to make everybody else think the same way I do.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
I've tried to rewatch some of the cartoon now, and it still doesn't click with me. I have those Masterverse figures, and I love them. Like the
Slush Head.
Slush Head, I love them. That Skeletor is really nice too.
The Slush Head, I got the Slush Head. I said that I was going to do it as a giveaway, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, no.
Slush Head is badass.
Mine's not going nowhere because I got that helmet off, and it took me forever to get that damn helmet off, so I could swap them out the way I wanted.
If you want to see the ultimate getting the helmet off video, was Sir Clifton when he sat there and prized all that shit loose and showed you how to do it and poured slime.
It was some work.
Here we go, Alex. New Adventures was trash. I hated it as a kid and I hate it now. And then Jeff goes, New Adventures is the worst Motu version ever.
Yep. When I want Revelation to look great, I just watched New Adventures, and now Revelation looks better.
That's saying a lot, too. A minute ago, we were talking about multiverses. And, my mind works, and it thinks, and it got to going. And I was thinking back to 83, 84. We know that right now multiverses are everywhere, right? We've got the Marvel multiverse, the cinematic multiverse, the DC multiverse, the Spider-Verse, the this verse,
it's
that
popular. I think Star Wars
is
going to do it.
The original multiverse? In my mind, the original multiverse was DC, Earth 1 and Earth 2. And they did a whole comic book series called Crisis on Infinite Earths because nobody could understand it and we had to get rid of the multiverse. And it's all come full circle. It's all back to the way it was before with multiverses everywhere you look.
Well, I think the problem is some of these properties, like you look at Batman. Batman's been around since the 30s. Okay. Go write Batman and put a fresh coat of paint on him, but you're going to have to use all that garbage that was written over the last freaking 80, 90 years and put it in there and make it make sense. Can you do that? Nobody can fucking do that. So what you do is you take your chalkboard eraser and you erase the board and you start over. And then you just call it, this Batman is Earth 4.67849er. And this one goes over here and this is my version of Batman. And that's what people do nowadays. You can't just, like, I remember I'm a Fantastic Four fan. Where do you even begin if you come in as a fan to start collecting the Fantastic Four? I think they've had like 6 different versions of issue number 1 in the last 20 years. Like, do you just do the original continuity?
How long is it going to be? How long is it going to be before superheroes are period pieces like cowboys?
Shit, the way they keep cranking out these bad movies, sooner you freaking New York Minute.
Exactly. You and I are thinking on the same sheet of music there. Alex says, you get a multiverse, and you get a multiverse, and you get a multiverse. And everybody gets a multiverse.
Hey, and
Look under your
one of
seat.
those
There's a
multiverses will be
under
the
your
version
seat,
you like.
everybody. Huh?
One of those multiverses will be the version you like. And to you, that's going to be the real one. All these other ones are bullshit. But this one where Superman has the red underpants, that's mine.
Mine too, but I'm very, very partial to the original mini comics that came with the original figures. And I want to touch on one more thing that it kept getting said, and I didn't get a chance to get in on that. When the Origins line came out, all I wanted was He-Man and Skeletor and Man-at-Arms and Tila and Stratos and Beastman and Zodak.
Original wave.
And when I got those, the original 7, I thought, okay, I've got it all now. And I didn't think it was going to go too much further than that. And look how far it did go. I mean, as much as everybody bitches about the line, it went way further than I ever thought it would.
Same.
We got the trifecta of play sets. You've got Snake Mountain. I didn't think they would ever get around to.
Dude, Ninja got a freaking white Storm Shadow G.I. Joe equivalent guy there.
Yeah,
like,
it never got released in the line, but yeah, they were going to release that. It just never did. Yeah, there he is, Slamurai. Right. What a
there
name.
You go.
Man,
whoever came up with the name Slamurai needs to get slammed.
Oh, come on. It fits right in with the Buzz Off, Manny Faces, Dinkor. Come on. Master of the Universe has been the king of terrible names from the beginning. Ram Man.
Well, I can't disagree with you on that one. I think you're more right than wrong on that. But then, of course, there is the one figure that hasn't been released yet. I'm waiting with a bated breath. Maybe I will get one someday. I need a Flip-Or figure, damn it.
Flip-Or.
Okay, I can see now that you're not watching the show that you need to be watching. You need to get over there and you need to watch that latest episode of Eternian Toe over there at Mr. Home Arcade when Flip-Or finally comes back.
I thought of the dolphin.
I've been seeing Flip-Or from Mad Hatter for a long time now, since he first came up when he drew that picture of him. And then actually decided, I should try and get this figure made. So I think it's
Jeff says he loves that figure but never owned it. What? I never got that figure. Cobb Slamurai. I love Slamurai, but that's a goofy name. Yeah. I don't have Slamurai. I've got Ninjor, and I think I'm just going to stick with Ninjor. And so both of you guys, in the Origins line, what is the figure that hasn't been released yet that you're waiting for, starting with you, Jacob?
Oh, man. Who's left now that I really, really want? You know who I was wanting? Unpopular probably is the Rock people, Rock on Stone Dog, but we're getting them. I loved them as a kid. I don't know. There's just something about them being able to turn to the Rock. I love them, but for somebody that they don't have yet, man, I'm going to put my thinking cap. Who's left now that I really?
Well, I can name two off the top of my head, and that'd be Cyclone and Rio Blast. And Rio Blast is the one I'm looking forward to.
Cyclone's coming. But Rio Blast, and Rio Blast is one I never had as a kid, but I've learned so much about him. I'd like to see him as well. And who I want is Modulok. I've been waiting too long for him.
Modulok.
We've gotten the little parts here and there, some chest from Frogmonger. We got some legs on Mantenna. Little things here and there. I forget what else. There's not arms. I forget what else. Something else that they've had.
Too bad.
Yeah, definitely too bad. Yeah.
What about
taking
you,
their
Joe?
time on that because I don't think they're quite sure how they're going to do that yet.
I think they ought to make a 2-pack with 2 figures that combine.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
two-
like they did in 2000.
Yeah, the 2 individual and then like a third big buck in the middle that you could snap them all together.
Well, the
Before I
origin
get
stuff.
to you,
going
Jonezer, I
back to-
want to address Alex here, who says, and you're going to wait for a while on that one. I'm waiting for laser power He-Man and laser light Skeletor, and they better have light up features. Yeah, right. That's never happening.
Good luck.
Yeah. What about you, Jonezer? What is the figure that they haven't released in the Origins line yet that you would most like to see?
Well, what you guys had already said was Cyclone and Rio Blast. Too bad. But I'm going to take this in another way. Modulok would be my number one with a bullet. But I think the problem what made Modulok special? You could take them apart and put them back together again. What can every Origins figure do? So Modulok all of a sudden became not quite so special anymore because now everybody can do what Modulok does. But the thing, I'm going to take this in a different direction. The thing I wanted the most, and I'm probably not going to get, is the Battle Ram. Screw all these figures. I want the freaking Battle Ram.
Yeah.
And I don't, it was one of the original pieces that came out with the line in the very beginning that we didn't get.
You got the
It's the
front
biggest.
Yeah,
it's the
we've got
biggest piece.
this part. We've got this part, but this is the part that we need to get right here.
When it looked like they originally planned, that looks like the one that we got. Looks like it could slide into something. You know, it looks like it could do that.
Maybe those rockets did or something,
yeah. But I do think that might have been their original plan, but then I think they just abandoned ship there, or maybe we'll see one. I don't know.
Well, all the vehicles and play sets haven't done as well as the figures. I don't think like Castle Grayskull, we eventually got them like half off. Snake Mountain had a sale not too long ago, and I think with the play sets and stuff like that, that's why like this crowdfunding's coming up for that. Oh, the snake layer. They're gonna just make as many as they need to, I think, because I think they're losing money when they do vehicles. I know. What was that first one? Shark Attack. That one went on clearance. Stridor, you're seeing them at Ross now.
Stridor is on deep discount right now.
Yes, I got one. I was like, oh, $15. Now he's $5.
I did a video, God, a long time ago where I saw a Stridor on sale at Walmart on a clearance aisle.
Well, and here's the other thing. If they ever did get around to doing the Battle Ram, there's been so much time in between the Sky Sled and the Battle Ram. Does everybody even have a Sky Sled to complete your Battle Ram now?
The Adamant Sky Sled went on sale real cheap. I got 3 or 4 of them now because I wanted some extra Sky Sleds. I think I gave away some Adams to people. Just like a couple more Sky Sleds.
The Sky Sled was meant to be an army builder, right? Because
and then they shouldn't have sold Adam with it.
But they put Adam's ass in there. So now I got 2 or 3 Prince Adams so I could get Sky Sleds.
Yeah, that would have been a better idea to put
some Eternity Guards and Sky Sled.
That
only makes sense. But I mean, that's the thing is the people that are
release it with another Sky Sled. You can't ever have
people that are making the business decisions aren't the fans buying them. Obviously,
they don't even know anything about.
I do think that some of them are paying attention and are learning, but unfortunately they're just learning what works as far as chasing the almighty dollar. Yeah. They're not looking at what works as far as like giving the fans what they want.
All right. I'm gonna go off on that for just a second, and I agree with you. But here's the thing. And I'll tell a little story to begin this so you can see where I'm going with this. All right, so I knew a man who owned a comic shop. And the people who worked in that comic shop did not give a shit about comics. None of them collected comics. None of them could tell you who Batman was as opposed to Wolverine because they didn't give it 2 shits. And I asked him, I said, Cooper, why do you have these people in here working for you that do not care anything about these comics. And he goes, because they don't care about comics. It's why they're working for me in here. I don't have to worry about any of them stealing shit out of this store because they don't want none of it.
Makes sense.
Well, here's what happened at Mattel. And that's why we've got all these suits that don't give two shits about the line and are confused about how to package figures and all that. It's because of Scott Nylick. That's what happens when you have a fan in charge of your department. You get Scott Nylick. And once they got his happy ass out of there, they said they would never do that again. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that this is my opinion. I have no facts on this, but I'm just thinking.
I think the thing to do, in my opinion, if I was running this business, have one on a fucking consultant basis, like, hey, we're thinking about putting the Sky Sled out with Prince Adam, and then someone could go, do it with an attorney and guardsman, you'll sell more of them. Just someone there doing that, that would.
Well, somebody who knows something about the line that maybe could give them a little direction. But
the fans are ripping this on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Make everything that's made to order your exclusive. You're leaving money on the table. I mean, it's like someone wants to buy the thing you're selling and they can't get to you. You can't get their money.
Well, that reminds me of something that Rick talked about earlier. Why was Origin such a hell of a line to get in the stores, but Masterverse is readily available?
They're still readily available. I think you can go to Big Bad Toy Store and order every single one of them right now.
Well, the only thing that I can think of is that Origin sat in shipping containers off the coast of San Francisco for ages and ages and ages because of a mysterious illness that swept the nation at some point in time back in those days, and that was affected the availability of that and the ability to get that in the stores for too long. And then you had Walmart over ordering wave 1 and not ordering wave 2. Masterverse doesn't seem to have any of those issues.
No, it didn't. I've seen every Masterverse figure in Target from day one. I don't think there's one of them I've had to work too hard to get. Not a one. Whereas Origins was a pain in the ass to collect, and it still is.
Yeah, I agree, and that's probably the reason why it's in the condition that it's in now, in my not so humble opinion. Night Stalker. Are we going to see a repaint of Stridor as Night Stalker?
They had one, I think, at Comic-Con in the booth. Yeah.
Which I'm surprised. That's probably going to end up being a Mattel Creations, I think, because unless they went and got all these Stridors and brought them back and painted them again.
That'd have been brilliant.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that's going to be some kind of exclusive to get them because with Stridor selling that horribly, they have to do something else.
Right.
Or they may not even come out with it. I just wish they never showed me.
All right. Another question from the chat here. What about vintage Attack Track?
You'll never
even
see
if it doesn't have the motorized function in it. Would either of you guys like to see that released?
I'd love to see it, but I've got a vintage one I didn't sell because I don't think they're going to do one.
I'll take it all. I'll take whatever they.
Well, you're all in. You're all in, and you have been.
I'm horrible.
And the only thing you said you're missing is the Adam He-Man 2-pack that came out originally,
and the She-Ra with the brushable hair.
Yep. So if anybody out there ever sees them for a reasonable price, hit me up because I'll get them eventually.
I got my eyes open for you. I do the toy fairs and stuff.
Alex says, listen now, Alex says that if you need any naked Stratos or Jitsus, he can hook you up, guys. So
I
don't have them either.
And you can get them for like $8 at Big Bad Toy Store right now, or $7.
As much hate as Naked Stratos gets, I think if you do him upright, he's not that bad. I got my little accessories and stuff.
There you go. I did the same thing with mine, man.
you get him to really look like the mini comic, he looks a lot cooler, I think.
I did the same thing with mine, and then I did go get an extra one and got one of Lee Customs heads that was like the Avion Warrior, so we could have an Avion Warrior. So yeah, I mean that's what you need to do.
I was thinking about army building with them too. I usually get about 4 army builders.
What you do with them. You army build with them. Make them into Stratos's minions or whatever. All right. It's 12:08, so it's about that time. We're gonna feed the ducks. We'll start with Cobb down there. Tell us what you got going on there and how people can watch your show.
You're on YouTube, Cobweb Collector, and Instagram too if you want to check out pictures. Got the same thing, Cobweb Collector. Right now I got nothing quite in the works, but got a bunch of packages on the way. Some random stuff from Amazon last night. I stayed up too late and shouldn't have been on there. So kind of somewhat off. So I'm just waiting for more Motu to come in, my main thing, but got a few other little surprises coming up. I do have some Mythic Legions. Everybody's been trying to get me into those, and got some of them coming. I won on a show on a buddy of mine, so be opening those pretty soon too. I don't even know what figures they are, but I'm excited to get them and check them out, and I'll probably do a video on those in the next couple days as soon as they show up. Yeah, just Cobweb Collector here on YouTube.
And he's doing some excellent stuff over there. As a matter of fact, I will give him this. He is the first one to undress T-Law on YouTube.
Man, that gave me a boost too.
I think you got a whole bunch of subscribers over there.
Between that and then Wave 13 of Masterverse, I did those 2 videos 2 days in a row. And that weekend for me was just, it blew up Friday night. Subscribers were hitting, and the rest of Saturday throughout the day. And then that night, Saturday night, Mega J Retro did like a video about my video, which I woke up to Sunday morning, shocked the hell out of me. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, his video looks like my video. I was like, oh, he's reviewing my video, and he was giving me shout outs and stuff. So all Sunday the next day was subscribers. So yeah, I had a big blow up.
How close? So you just reached your 500 here recently, right?
Yeah, now I'm at like, what was it, 800 and something.
Man, it took me about 6 months after 500 to get here to 800, and look at you just shooting on up there. You go, man. You're going to get your 1,000 before the springtime, man.
And for me, I just started doing videos just because like Oz was like, hey, you got a lot of figures. You start doing some YouTube stuff if you want. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. I have no idea. The only help I really had was my son does his stop motion with Lego. And I was like, hey, show me how to edit some. And I just started doing it. And I came from watching a bunch of reviews and watching just other people do YouTube. I really still think a lot of my stuff's crap compared to some of the stuff that I love watching. And for the feedback and stuff I get from people saying, no, we love your stuff, man. You do great stuff. I'm like, I don't see how I even got the subscribers.
Tell him, Joe, they're watching you because they want to see you, not necessarily.
I know. I'm just so. Well, I think being so antisocial, and the whole reason I even got into Origins, I'll be quick about it, is just 2020. I quit drinking, got sober, and came from a whole living my life isolated, horrible alcoholic. Just didn't talk to anybody, sat in my room, drank from morning till night. Got off of that, was like, hey, I got extra money now. Let me try and find something that I love again. Origins came out a couple months later, and I was like, you know what? He-Man was my first love of toys as a kid. Let me start collecting these, and it has just blown up since then. I've got a new addiction now. Just toys and He-Man, and it's a way better way of living. I'm just really blessed to be where I'm at. But yeah, I probably have been dead by now, if not.
It's a much healthier choice, and it's probably
not be cheaper. I'm not sure. It's starting to feel like it may not be cheaper.
Healthier. I think it's
Healthier.
healthier. Go ahead, Joneser.
Well, you can see me at Motu Jonezer on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If there's some kind of social media, there's a good chance I'm on it somewhere. It's the same old nonsense every Motu guy does. I do toy unboxings and reviews, and I do them in my own way, which is probably very unprofessional, and I don't give a crap.
I feel
I'm probably going in the future. I'm pulling out all my snake men. I've got like a Fangor and a Slither and a Snake Face and a Squeeze, and I think I'm going to just try to do all the snake men at once. I'm getting tired of looking at all these toys behind me I haven't opened yet, so I think I'm going to just bundle and get them over with so I can get into doing something that I want to do instead of something I feel like I have to do. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense. I think that you ought to do a video with the Snake Men taking Snake Mountain back away from Skeletor.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm just going to open like every Origin Snake Man I have, which I think I have like 5 or 6 of them I didn't open.
And then at the end of the video, they assault Skeletor and Snake Mountain.
Snake Face, I think I got like at least 4 that I haven't opened, and so I think we're just going to try to do them all at once so I can put them with the other ones and kind of do the same thing. I got a pile of Massiverse ones I haven't opened. I'm just going to bundle them and open them. Be done
There
with.
you go. All right, guys. Well, here I am, last but not least, to tell you about this crazy ass show that I do over here. Every Saturday night I do this late night. It can be anything. You never know who might show up over here. On Sunday I do a Sunday hangout where I play with my toys and talk about my toys. It's a very unconventional place over here at Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures because it's just weird and fantastic, and you never know what I'm going to cover. I'm not on social media hardly ever, but I do hang out on Instagram a little bit. I don't do Facebook, but maybe I might hang out in a chat or two there. You never know where I might just put some love on your stuff. And I don't do X at all, formerly known as Twitter. There is one over there with Weird Fantastic's name on it, but don't expect to see very much being posted on that. And TikTok is a Chinese psyop that I do not have installed on any of my devices at all, ever. So at the end of the day, I hope to see everybody again here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a good journey. Good night, everybody. Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.